Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the regular meeting of the Leonard Village Council. Today is September 9th, 2024. I want to welcome the board back from heading into fall. Looking forward to finishing out with a few nice days here between now and then. We had a pretty bad windstorm come through, as we're all aware. We still have a little cleanup work to do, but pretty much we didn't lose anybody, and I think most residents were pretty comfortable with power, et cetera, being restored or not even losing it in some cases. So moving on, then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance and a brief invocation. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God, we thank you for this day you give to us, and pray that you grant us wisdom for today's meeting. That everybody would have a good rest of the night and week. Amen.
Thank you. Okay, I'd like to have a roll call for attendance of the Village Council.
McDonald.
Here.
Kennedy.
Sure.
Swack. Here. Hawkins.
Here.
And Pelchak is absent excused.
Good. And we'll note for the record that both Clerk Lori Zelnap and Treasurer Reimbursed at present. Okay, moving on, the council has received the regular meeting minutes for the regular meeting of the Village Council held in August 12th. Are there any questions, changes, or corrections? If none, a motion to approve them would be in order.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from August.
I will support.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from August 12th regular meeting. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none. All in favor of approval of the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Motion carries. Moving on to the agenda. Once a couple of modifications. We have the Village of Leonard ADA policy on there twice, so strike number 5. And then I'd like to add a speed sign request as number 5. And then number 6 to be the decorating budget for the village. And then let's see, consulting planner. Yeah, and then the poly, as you will recall, back in 2023, the village made the application on behalf of the Pollyanna Trail for a grant. The trail was awarded. There's a need for an amendment to be made. So I'm asking for the council to authorize me when that amendment is presented to be able to sign on our behalf. And by way of refreshing you, we're really not responsible for any portion of this grant. We were just the ones that stood up and stood in since the Pollyanna Trail was not a qualified entity to make application, but as a participating community in the Pollyanna Trail, we could do it. They took our spot. We could have, since we weren't applying for anything, the Parks and Rec said, "Oh, go ahead," and it was approved by the Village Council back then. So there's an amendment. The Pollyanna Trail Council found out that it was going to be excessively expensive to do the original engineering, preliminary engineering for the trail. So they downsized it. And now they're trying to come up with a suitable amendment to describe that. So that we don't have to wait too long to approve it on their behalf. That's why it's on the agenda.
Shall we make that number 8 then?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
Okay. That said, is there anything else? If not, a motion to approve the agenda as amended would be in order.
I will make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I will support.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the amended agenda. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Okay, motion carries. The council also has the treasurer's report for the month of August. Are there any questions, changes, or corrections? If none, a motion to approve the report, receive and file it would be in order.
I'd like to make a motion to receive and file the treasurer's report.
I will support.
Okay, are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none, can we have a roll call, please, Kelly?
McDonald?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Swack?
Yes.
Hawkins?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Accounts payable for August of 2024 in the amount shown. Are there any questions, changes?
I'd like to make a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $14,862.41 for general, $1,833.23 for major, nothing for local, and $112 for Mill Park Recreation.
I will support.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, could we have a roll call to pay the bills, please, Lori?
Hawkins?
Yes.
Swack?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
McDonald?
Yes. Okay, motion carries. Okay, we've reached that point in the meeting for public comment. Would anybody care to address the village council?
Where were you Sunday? There we go.
Where was I Sunday?
Has nothing to do with it.
Oh, I was
You
golfing.
were supposed to go,
Yeah, it's the Township Golf League.
Fred said you were supposed to go to the Octagon Bar, you and Debbie.
I wanted to, but I had already was.
Did you?
Yeah, I know. I miss out.
Too bad.
Did I miss out?
We enjoy it. I don't know what you know. Did you miss anything? Probably not.
Thanks, Cindy. Okay, moving on then to new business. I learned indirectly that communities in Michigan, and I assume maybe across the nation since it's a federal law, the Americans with Disabilities Act requires that every community have a policy, much like we do for Title VI for equal opportunity, etc. And so I drafted, based on the information that I was able to look up for the Americans with Disabilities, I drafted a policy that you should have received a copy of, along with the grievance procedure and a form. I don't know if we sent the form out. But I'd like to ask the village council to authorize and adopt the Village of Leonard Americans with Disabilities Act policy. Basically what it says is, it says that the village will do everything that it can to accommodate persons with disabilities, including or up to allowing slightly different building standards for like allowing a ramp instead of stairs, where normally the stairs would be the primary access point, things like that. It's pretty common sense stuff. It doesn't abridge the building code or anything like that. It just says if you have restrictions that would prohibit a person with handicaps, you have to work with them to help accommodate them. So I'm recommending adoption of this so that we're A, in conformance with the law, and B, we'll have something to guide us in the event that there is a request. So,
Is there anything specific in it that, or is it just basic, a very generic, you know, because anybody who needs assistance at work, who needs to
well, it,
go against the rule or whatever is written,
Well,
would probably have a
yeah,
plan.
the purpose of the policy is to provide guidance and direction regarding implementation of the ADA Act. And then what it says is that Title II of the ADA, which applies to state and local governments, no qualified person with a disability may be excluded for participating in or denied the benefits of the program, services, and activities provided by the Village of Leonard because of a disability. And then it goes on to describe, give you a definition of disability so that there's a frame of reference and people that would qualify. And then there's some of the examples for reasonable modifications would be like granting a zoning variance to allow a ramp to be built inside a setback. Or, you know, it doesn't say we have to, but we have to give that type of consideration. I assume that it still would be up to the applicant. We're not required to waive any rules or fees or anything like that. They would just have to go through the same process that anybody else would. And it says that we have to permit a service animal in a place where animals are typically not allowed, like in village offices. That's basically what it's saying. And also offering sign language interpreters or captioning at a public meeting upon request. And we've always kind of followed that rule anyway. They have to notify the clerk at least 3 days prior if we needed that. Now, one thing we'll have to do is name a coordinator, who would, in our case, would be the village clerk, since she would handle, or since I should say, that person would be handling any requests for assistance anyways at our regular meetings, et cetera. So I did talk with you about that. Didn't mean to spring it on you, but it was in the policy. So are there any other questions? Or I like the idea of having a definition and also having something in writing. And probably I have to think there's a lot of communities that haven't done this because I've never heard of it before. Title VI is pretty common because communities that receive federal funding through either the community development or road funds have to adopt a Title VI every year, and it's in our policies as well as on the website, and that's where this will end up too as well for people in case they need to find it. So, what is the pleasure of? I appreciate a motion authorizing the adoption of the policy and the appointment of the village clerk as the coordinator, and the village would be drafting a form for requests or notification of someone that has a disability.
Would something like that go through the planning commission, or would it just go straight to?
Well, it would depend on what it
Depends on
was.
what it is.
I'm sure, like in the case of if they wanted to put a wheelchair ramp on like maybe on an existing home, has too close of a setback
Yeah.
that it would end up having to go to the zoning board of appeals. But that would probably only happen after planning commission did a site plan review.
So this would be case by case.
Yeah, definitely.
I will make a motion to adopt the Americans with Disabilities policy in the Village of Leonard, to also appoint the village clerk as the point person,
Coordinator.
coordinator,
Thank you.
and,
And adopt a grievance or
a form, and adopt a form to
ADA form for requests.
and communication between
Exactly.
the requester and the village.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adopt the policy as stated. Are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none, I think we'll do just a regular voice vote. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Okay, the motion carries. Thank you. Okay, council received, number 2 is the tree removal on Forest Street. I really hadn't planned on, this tree stymied the village as far as doing the sidewalk on Forest Street this year. Even though it was late in the year, I had hopes of being able to do it, but upon looking at the tree and seeing if we tried to go around the tree with the sidewalk, the tree's gonna have to come down. It's rotting on the inside. The interior of it's going bad. It's a cottonwood tree, and it's huge. So I verbally solicited a quote, which you should have received. It was significantly more than the estimate that I had been given verbally, because as you can see, it was $9,000. Now, to keep that in the proper frame of reference, it's on a main road. So any work that would have to be done, there would have to be additional traffic safety. There would have to be flaggers and signs on both directions. It would also involve temporary closures of Forest Street as they cut the tree down, which adds significantly to the cost. Due to the cost, the $9,000, as much as I would really like to get it done and down quickly, I would defer to the council on whether they want to try and find a different vendor that will remove it. I mean, traditionally, this company has done work for us before under Triple T, and they reincorporated and are relicensed and insured now. That's up to the board, the council to decide what we want to proceed, or if we want to proceed at all. The tree's got to come down before we can put a sidewalk in there. There's no sense putting a sidewalk in or around it.
Knowing that it's coming down.
Knowing that it's going to have to come down, it's just incredibly expensive.
How much, is there any way to tell how much of that price was tree and how much was extra? Like how much was road closure and how much, is there anything that we could do to offset that with?
Well, initially I told him that we could provide signs and
Yeah.
barrels, but he was thinking that he would hire flaggers to do it.
For a job that size, you'd have to have flaggers, because when they're cutting some of that stuff down over by the road, you're gonna wanna stop traffic.
Right.
I know there's a sign that's not being used that says flagger.
Yeah.
Driving nuts. Everyone's a flagger.
So I would be guessing if I tried to estimate. It is going to take a considerable amount of equipment. That price does include stump removal, or stump grinding. So.
Why exactly do we need that sidewalk? I'm just curious. I see nobody walking from the fire station to Basil Street, ever.
Because we don't have a sidewalk.
It's a
There is a sidewalk there. Nobody uses it. That Bradford's trees fell on it and
Oh, that one, yeah.
well, the connector, it would be the
There would be a
connector
connector.
between the south end and the residents that live, south of Division Street, let's say, or the trail.
it's a good thought.
And
It's gonna
I
just.
just think that it's not gonna be used.
one of the reasons is we've had people request it. But the biggest reason is that it's a connector, and we had hoped to use block grant funds because they had said in this case it was a connector. And then frankly, it was the easiest to engineer of all the locations where we need connections in the village. Like on East Elmwood or on West Elmwood, it would be nice to have. We have another situation similar where we have the sidewalk at Rosewood Estates, and then you got to come all the way downtown before you get to the sidewalk. Well,
Four houses.
Birdwitch is, it's not Birdwitch
No,
anymore.
it's the White House on the
Yeah.
hill now.
I guess,
Lambert's house, Lambert.
It's just, to me, it's a waste of money. I've lived here a long time, you know that. Never have I seen anybody.
Well, we do get a lot more traffic, bicyclists and stuff. And there's a lot more kids in the village too, that have been for many years. But I also remember too.
I guess just as a question,
Yes.
if we were to take the tree down, say tomorrow, just hypothetically, what is the likelihood we get the sidewalk done this year?
It's one of the,
Okay,
it would take, because that money
that would
would
kill
have to
the
come
budget.
out of directly out of the budget. We could use carryover funds,
It's not in the budget.
but to have it built,
Understood, I guess my question comes down to if the goal is to put in the sidewalk, but we either take the tree down and put in the sidewalk, or we take the tree down and we don't have the funds to put in the sidewalk. I don't think it's a necessary decision for tonight at that point. I think we have time to maybe see if we get a couple more quotes and then take that down, because I'm guessing the work would come into the next budget, or for the sidewalk itself. Although, does that
Plan for it.
make poo-poo for the community development block grant funds that would be able to use?
no, I think
Okay.
that's all.
Fine.
Okay,
It's-
as long as we're not throwing away something by delay.
Yeah, no, I just was hoping to smooth the future construction
Sure.
by not having to sit and wait on that next year.
You might have to anyway.
Pardon?
You might have to
Well,
anyway.
no, that's why
It's still a
it's
sticking
not me
point.
making the decision, it's us.
It's still a sticking point.
Well, it's
You have not gone to talk to Fred. That I do know. You got one of the states on our property. And until we get that situated,
Yeah.
you're not doing anything on our
Yeah.
property.
Well, right, but when I've talked with you and
Like-
Fred,
I guess, Cindy, is
We
the
have
tree
to
on
come
your
to-
property though?
The tree?
Yeah, is the tree on your property?
no,
No.
Okay,
she's
the
talking
conversation
about.
is about the tree right
I'm just saying. I'm
Understood.
just letting you all know.
Understood.
Because if
We're
it
talking
starts,
about the tree
there's a
right now.
lawsuit.
Yeah, thank you, Cindy.
We're talking
We get
about
it.
the tree right
We
now.
get it, but we're just talking about.
I told you, it's a waste of money. Nobody's gonna use that. Maybe a kid or two. No guy can hit by a car.
Understood, we're talking about the tree right now.
One safety is a concern, obviously. There's no need
Please,
to get
please call yourself to
No,
order.
no,
I will not.
no, it's not like,
Don't you start yelling.
okay,
Please be respectful.
no side conversations, okay? It's,
Yeah.
all comments,
Tell your dude.
all comments are supposed to be directed to me, Cindy. That's the
I'll
point.
direct it to you, but
Oh, I know you
you ought to know that.
But, so for the interest of getting, things in orderly, at this point, failing the motion, we'll just move on unless the council wants to give me further direction. I will solicit additional bids, and on the tree, and I will get together with,
There's one on, it's off of Hagerman.
did I recognize you?
I'm just telling you. I told you about it last time you ignored me. They're not bad priced. I can find out from my friend, they did her yard, it looks great. Took limbs and stuff
Was
down.
it budget? Was it local company on?
It's a local company.
Hagerman?
On what?
Are they off of Hagerman?
Yes,
Okay, that's budget. Yeah,
I don't know.
I'll contact them.
okay.
Okay, thank you.
You know, they're local.
Yeah,
But I would agree, it sounds like we have time.
yeah,
And I wouldn't want to drain the budget.
okay,
For something that doesn't need to be done right now.
all right. Okay,
I guess that would be my motion. I'd like to postpone the decision while we solicit a few more bids for tree removal until next meeting,
A second.
until the September meeting.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. October, thank you.
okay.
I second.
We're in September, right?
Okay, we have a motion and a second to postpone the action until we've obtained additional quotes for the tree removal. Any questions on the motion? Nothing? I'm sorry. Okay, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Okay, so, I'll have something back for October. Okay. We received 2 communications from the county health department. They asked us to support a resolution declaring September National Suicide Prevention Month and also September as National Recovery Month. Would the council want me to read both of the resolutions, or would the council pass a motion to waive the reading and then another motion to adopt if we waive the reading?
Are these always September?
I think so.
Is there any way to make it permanent? Instead of a resolution every year, just,
Imagine we could.
that way you can just,
Is it every city? Yeah.
like, because there's a few that they go through in the year, and I forget what they are, but let's just put a calendar, and then they request it, you send back a calendar, says it's done.
Okay, well,
You're permanent.
well, yeah, the point then would be to adopt a motion, A, to waive the reading of of each resolution, being the National Suicide Prevention Month and the National Recovery Month resolutions, and to adopt them on a permanent basis, on an annual basis in the month of September. Or we can even do it in August,
Just make it,
anticipation of September,
Sure.
instead of waiting for the.
or just make it
Does
this,
it have to be in September? Do you have to?
or just make
I
it
don't think so,
December.
because all we're doing is declaring September to be, that, we're doing
that's
it
what you
ahead
were
of time.
saying.
We're just
Okay.
declaring that, in August, it would be on the, well, I don't even need to be on the agenda. It would just be,
Was there any way to put, maybe pull up it, to make a calendar of all these different months, the disabilities, the children, fund, and whatever, we had a bunch of things, and just make one calendar every
Right.
December, pretty much for the next year, that would be
Yeah.
good.
well, that's a different motion.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if we
Yeah.
can do that though, instead of, you know.
To some extent, yeah, it's like with the Traffic Improvement Association, the Michigan Municipal League, we get those annually, but there's usually money involved on those. So if the money
Those
price,
would be different.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
if it's,
But something that I can't imagine that we would ever say no to,
right,
you know,
right.
and these are not, and we have to actually do.
I guess if we did it for 1 year and ticked it off for 1 year each time it comes up,
Yes.
then we're covered for,
And just
Moving
have
forward.
a calendar, because each month
Right.
has something, and just cover
next
the
time
entire
something
year.
comes up, I'll try to remember.
And
maybe
we'll do it now,
this
so
week.
I will make a motion to not read both resolutions, but to adopt September as a National Suicide Prevention Month, the resolution for that, and also the resolution for the National Recovery Month in September.
That was
Cover us for 2024.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to waive the reading and to adopt both of the resolutions. Are there any questions on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, please say no. Okay, the motion carries. And we'll, yeah.
Alex,
Oh, yeah, that's right. Thank you. Sorry I missed it.
you're good.
Sometimes you guys move so fast.
Sorry.
That's my
Okay.
bad.
Okay, so number 5, under the new business is decorating budget? Is that?
Speed sign request.
Yes, you signed those 5
Okay,
and 5
5
and
and
6.
I got this number here. Okay, I did call Evolus, who is a provider for the speed signs. I requested a quote. They did not call me back. I did when I got the email from Jennifer. They haven't responded. I believe it is about $4,900.
Did we pay for all those out of pocket too, for the other ones?
Yeah, yeah, the park budget paid for the one on,
And then on the north end, we paid for that one outright. The
Correct.
southern, I think, did
Was
the
the
park
park-
pay for the whole thing, or was it split 50/50? I thought it was split 50/50.
The one by the park was the park.
park was
Okay.
paid for that.
So this would be the final direction would be West Elmwood, but the concern is not going out of the city, it's
Right,
coming
it's coming
into
in.
the city. Because all the trucks like to do 55 clear until they pass my house, which is very 25 at that point.
We discussed this a couple months ago, and I had not budgeted for it, but what I would suggest is if we're gonna do it, then we should budget for it.
Which
I mean, would do next spring, or if it was budgeted. we
It
could-
just seems like such a waste, any of those speed signs are, because like this one with them going south on Rochester Road, they're not doing 35 by the time they hit Porter Lane.
The,
Most of them are just still doing 50.
Yes,
the,
I agree.
Easton
I
Speed
think it's a waste of money,
the
yes.
claim is,
Yes.
well, that's why we're all gonna get to vote. Well, some of us are gonna get to vote on
Right,
it.
But,
But,
I mean, you can tell people coming in and the speed, it says they're doing 40, and they're not slowing down, even though it's flat, they're
Well,
slowing down.
and the installation is not, I mean, there is time and material involved as well. So aside from the cost of the unit itself, which ballpark is maybe $4,500, one steel pole for those is about $300. And that doesn't include the labor to put it in, assuming Don, or we'll be doing it locally. But my thought was to put it in the budget for next year's budget, which would be adopted in February, and then it would be in there as a line item, or it would be covered by a line item.
I think the concern stemmed from this being one of the few branches where there are no sidewalks and people are walking daily, literally daily.
Yeah, we have the same concern over by the school, though,
She
too,
can't
coming
walk
out
it
of
in.
town on the east side.
Yeah, people are walking to school.
Yeah,
Daily.
and people don't go 25 over there. And I think when we talked about it last time, we had discussed that a speed sign there isn't going to stop anybody from coming off of
It
that
doesn't.
road at 25.
Not without enforcement. I mean,
Yeah.
That's the key, and
and the
they
sheriff
never come
has,
out here, do they?
yeah, they have come out, generally on request. They'll come for
See, they just need to show once in a while.
And they don't put much time into it. I've
No.
offered up my driveway, clearly would be a perfect spot. I even have a little bit of a little bit of trees in the way so you can't see them, and they won't sit in the driveway.
trap, you mean?
I have a speed trap, and they won't sit in my speed trap. They won't sit in the driveway, they'll sit on the road, but now they're too close, they're in the way, so I haven't seen
Well,
enough enforcement, but
they-
they do come flying in.
They never object to a request for
No.
us to,
Right.
for us to have a deputy, but they can't provide a deputy
It's
on a
having
regular
deputies
basis.
sitting there for- yeah.
So,
It'd be nice to have one here just to for a presence, particularly by the elementary school.
Yes.
That really bothers me that people do that. And I realize, just maybe if they could come out just between 8:45 and 9:10 or something like that, just a couple of days.
Yeah,
I
I've seen
feel like
a
it would be
couple
helpful.
Days at that time sitting at the stop sign.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get them to come a little farther down, huh?
Yeah.
Sometimes they do,
I
you
see
can see
them
them sit in the
now.
church parking lot right
Yeah.
across from my house.
Do you?
I think the biggest problem that I've seen since I've been here is even though they will sit there and enforce, you have to go on like 45 or 50 before
Yeah.
they do anything. I mean, and I've literally had them tell me they're not giving out tickets because it's an election year.
Yeah, no,
So, I mean,
no, that's true. But if it's
So
local,
sad.
if it's a
I hate
local,
saying that on camera,
Sheriff's
yeah,
departments.
but
and people, yeah.
they said they aren't going to give out any tickets because of.
Wow.
So,
They're making me
Well-
look like the old man who yells at you when you're driving by.
hey, that's me.
I know, I didn't think it was me, but it's me.
We did, this past, several months ago when we talked about this, at that time, Evolis was having a sale, two units and a third, like a residential speed sign, at a very attractive price. Now, I'm not saying they'll do that again next year, but if we're seriously gonna consider putting one down by the school, which makes a lot of sense coming into town, because that whole stretch is 25 miles an hour. It's not like
It's paid.
up by
Oh,
you,
it's 35.
where it's 35 and then it goes down to 25. So, unless somebody wants to make a motion to buy one now, I would just recommend that the budget include it next year. If a few months is, it's not like a few months is gonna make a big difference.
Right.
And I'm not gonna argue the necessity of it. The statistically, they do make a difference. They keep honest people honest. People that are driving
Yes.
and they see the sign and they look at their speed and they say, oh, I'm doing 45 and it's 35, et cetera. Those people, they say they're between 70 and 80% effective. Most people don't ignore them. They'll check their speed at least. But no, it's not the cure-all. It's not like having a deputy
Well,
stand.
there's been times where I pulled out of my drive, the road, on the Rochester Road, and I look in my rearview mirror when I get on Rochester Road, and the guy is right on my,
Yeah.
where did he come from?
Right.
I did not see him when I pulled up, because he was on the other side of the hill, and he's going so fast.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Okay, if there's no action on that, then we'll move on to the next item, which is,
We don't need an action to put it on the budget or put it as a.
no, we should not really.
It's fine, okay.
Judy and I will talk about it before too long.
We can talk.
Just like,
We can always talk.
Well, the council is going to make the final decision as to that. Okay, so what came after speed sign then? Decorating budget. And I assume that you accept the responsibility,
I
Jennifer?
did,
Okay.
yeah. I did, in
Yeah.
Yvonne's absence, I've
You
been
did.
letting her kind of handle everything,
Yeah.
because she's the point person.
Well, I want to tell you that I appreciate that, and also the fact you did a nice memo on the plan
Oh, good.
as well. I think everybody,
The message from Jennifer Arundel, also on the plan, on the decorating committee, she's trying to plan for, she knows that money spent in December need to be planned for a little bit in advance and not, approved in December.
right,
She is looking for, and this obviously is assuming that the funds are available, I don't know that, a total of $1230, which includes porta potty, band, a tree, greens, Santa, and wrapping the door on the annex and doing something fancy there. So it's basically the whole party, is what she's assuming. Some stuff may get, sometimes the tree is donated, but we don't like to assume they will be donated, but generally,
Right.
somebody gets one. So obviously, this would be a not to exceed, or not a definite,
right. Looking at it, but
yeah. Oh,
the summer festival, that's one thing.
They have $3,000 budgeted, of which they've used 162.
So there's no reason.
so there's no
There's
reason
no
not to.
reason.
Right.
So,
Yvonne talked to me about it before she,
Before she-
okay.
All right, good. So if I could make a motion to allow the decorating committee to spend up to $1230 for this, specifically for the Christmas function in December, on December 8th, for that party.
You said $1,230.
$1,230, yes.
Or, sorry, I'd like to make a motion for the decorating committee to spend up to $1,230 for the Christmas event.
That works. I will second that.
Okay.
That works.
Okay. Are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none, we need a roll call, please, Laura.
Okay. Hawkins,
Yes.
Swack,
Yes.
Kennedy,
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes. Okay, motion carries. Sounds like we're gonna have a Christmas party.
She can't wait.
Really?
She's excited.
Good,
Yes, super
good.
excited.
Okay, next item on the agenda is
He's the consultant.
PC consultant.
Did you receive amounts of money?
No,
Fees?
I
Okay.
never did. And that was the only one I didn't get. But anyway, just to update the council, we asked, I spoke with Wade Trim representative, Caitlin Haddad.
Having
Yeah.
HAB.
Yeah, regarding being a consulting planner for the village of Leonard. And she indicated that she would try and send us a fee schedule because she would basically work for the village as most of our consultants do, time and material. Within them, we would know ahead of time how much an hour and whatever materials might cost. And pay on an as-needed basis. There's no retainer or anything like that. The reason I contacted her directly and indirectly, Wade Trim, was because Jennifer, Lori, and I, were we the only?
And Katie.
And Katie was there, that's right. We attended a community design, or a community zoning and planning in April of 2024. She was one of the presenters there, and in reading her resume, she handles mainly smaller, Imlay City is one of her larger clients. She handles Almont,
Armada, Hadley.
yeah. And we're in need of a consulting planner because we're going through the master plan review process right now. And we did meet with her for, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes. And she sat down and she made some very revealing clarifications on our current master plans.
Without even, this is like
Yeah.
the prepaid part of it. Like,
Yeah, it's like getting free
Almost.
advice without even having to pay for it. And what she said made sense, made big sense. A couple things that we really need to address for the future. So I hope to be able to present you with the costs for time and material. But unfortunately, we didn't get that, and I don't think we want to approve a planner until we know what it's going to cost us. So, and if you do know of another planning company, or you want to have obtain a reference, feel free to either get it or make me aware of it. But I was quite pleased with what Wade Trim's a pretty good sized firm, and I think they at least Kate would seem to get us. You know, she wanted to come out and see the community. She looked at her master plan on her own, time, and said she'd like to review the zoning ordinance as well. So those are all good things, positive things. So with that, I'm not going to recommend any action at this time. That'll be another item that will have to be dealt with in October.
But if you get the budget before that,
Yeah, I will.
Do it on Wednesday.
Yeah, once I get the information, I will get it out to the council. Okay? All right. Next item on the agenda is,
Allow president to approve amendment to
yeah. Okay, did I describe it to everybody? The village approved submitting an application for the Pollyanna Trail to the Oakland County Parks and Recreation for a grant for the improvements of pre-engineering design for the Pollyanna Trail. The estimates for that engineering design came in about almost $200,000, which was twice what they had originally budgeted for. And they not only went out once, they shrank the size of the project, and it was even more than that again. After the time it transpired, we've been going through that inflationary thing. So bottom line is that they're coming up with another amendment to the original agreement that they agreed to take. It's a $25,000 grant. They're responsible for, the trail is responsible for $75,000. The Park and Rec grant will be $25,000. And they want to use the money to do the engineering design / consultancy / construction, phased construction. So that means there'll have to be another amendment to the original agreement. And they asked if the council would authorize me to approve that amendment once they receive it, as long as it's within those parameters. Our agreement with the council is that we fronted the application, but we're not responsible for any part of the costs or execution of it. They maintain full control, the Apollyon Trail maintains full control over that. We had not applied for a grant that year in '23. And so Parks and Rec said if the village wants to sponsor the Apollyon Trail Council, we could do that. Then we gave them our opening, so to speak. So if the council's inclined, the motion to authorize the village president to approve the amendment language to the agreement when available, I guess is probably the best way.
And this is just a pass through.
Yeah, it's basically,
It's whatever they say, to whatever they want.
yeah, we're not gonna have a say on what they do, whatever.
Because we're not money.
No, we're not in it, no, we got no skin in the game per se. And if they have to finish the project by, I think it's April of 2026. So they need to get their ducks in a row sooner than later.
What's the project? What do they want to do?
They're gonna resurface the trail from Leonard all the way to Hosner Road.
With what? Blacktop?
No, limestone,
Oh,
new limestone, you know, it's gotten real thin.
So they should need a drawing from this?
Yeah, that's the crazy part, because
Just measure it, no?
they have the original plans for when they did the trail, but it's just like us doing forestry. The MDOT requirements are that we have to do an engineering plan.
It's
Can't
correct.
use, it's a wrap.
Is it $100,000 and they don't even have limestone down? Or is it $100,000 and they
No.
actually have limestone?
No, the project would be probably in 7 days, the actual construction. Put that much stone down over 5 miles or more. You know. They recently did a partial restoration from Boardman down to Durst, and again here between Rochester Road and Elmwood by the mill there.
is that what that, it looks like salt to me. Is that what?
They're putting salt on the edges to kill off vegetation
Oh.
rather than spraying chemicals.
Okay, yeah, I know.
Yeah. So that's where we are. So what is the pleasure of the council?
Knowing that we have no finances to do this anymore.
Yeah.
All right, so I will make an amendment to, or I will
Make a motion to allow the village president
Authorize.
to
Authorize.
authorize the village president to amend the language for the Apollyon Trail.
I'll second it.
Perfect. So is that what you said, Jennifer?
Yeah, I think I was second to Alex.
Okay.
He said it best.
So are you first or second?
Second, I'll be second.
Okay. So Alex made the motion. Are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. And motion carries. That was the last vote, wasn't it? For this?
Correct.
Okay. Just an update under old business. We sent out the show cause notices to the owners of 4285 Forest, notifying them of the decision of the hazardous building officer, the hearing officer, that the building should be demolished. And we have to wait until is it October 3rd, I think. We have to give them 30 days to respond. So, and then we can finally go to court and ask for an order to demolish the property. And just a heads up, we front that money as well, and then recover it either through the lien or the owners have to pay us off for their.
Can it be added, is it added to taxes or is it just a lien on the property until the property sells?
That's, we're gonna explore whether we can put it on as a tax, as a property tax lien, or as just a regular lien. Currently, we have just a lien,
Yeah.
which, a third party paid the taxes on that property a year ago, right, Judy? And, they really haven't communicated with us, so we don't know if they did it because there's a mortgage behind it. You know, somebody, a mortgager doesn't want to lose the property by not having the taxes paid up, because I don't think the company itself cares one way or the other. But,
I guess my concern at that point would be that I don't want to spend too much demolishing the building to where when they sell vacant land, they're not going to get it back. Because they then get to lose nothing after
yeah.
said and done.
Yeah, and
Which I
again,
don't care.
yeah, it'll depend on how much it costs. That house down in Lakeville that was demolished, it was around $10,000
Yeah.
for that.
See, that would be feasible to get it out.
Really?
Yeah.
It wasn't even that big of a house
No,
either.
no, but it was right by the lake,
Yeah.
and so,
And close to other structures and
Yeah.
stuff too, so.
Yeah, see, I got goosebumps.
yeah, I wish the neighbors would have bought that property instead of seeing them throw that monstrosity up there.
Oh, I hear you, I'm with you. Oh, mercy.
Okay, so, well, I'd like to ask the council to authorize the village president to direct the village attorney to schedule the show cause hearing as soon as opportunity presents itself. And yeah, they have to respond. If they fail to respond or don't respond affirmatively by October 3rd, that's when we could technically go to court and request removal. So somebody make that motion, or I'll make it. To authorize the village president to authorize the attorney to, see, if we wait until our next meeting, it'll be after that 30 days.
I make a motion to authorize the village president to schedule a show cause hearing at his earliest convenience or earliest available opportunity.
And to approve judicial action.
Yes, and approve of judicial action.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none, I think, let's do a roll call vote on that, please.
Okay, just need to finish
You
that.
got it?
Hawkins,
Yes.
Kennedy,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Swack.
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Catch basin reconstruction. I was supposed to get notice this week that he was going to begin. Remember, that's, we authorized back in July, $12,850 for that. To repair and replace 2 catch basins and install about 150 feet of pipe. To try and keep the alley dry and move the water in the village storm system. And I haven't heard from him, so hopefully it'll be soon. It was supposed to, he said beginning of September, so that's where we are. Okay, and then DPW. We didn't really say or do anything on the banner structure removal replacement. I contacted a local metal worker who said I was told, he said, kind of got secondhand, that he would look to see if there was, there are companies that make poles, like banner poles, but I have not heard from him. So I'll follow up on that again. And I don't know if, I'm not gonna remove them at this point. I didn't officially test them, but they seem they're not about to fall down, so.
Is that on the corners here?
Yeah, the 2 here and the 2 down
Okay.
Towards Division Street. Okay, and then I also asked for a quote, which I was supposed to get, to do the trailhead ditch. I went down there with the contractor, and the culverts are about half full. So I think it's a 10-inch culvert, and it's got 5 or 6 inches of fill, sediment in it. So we know that the ditch has to be taken down at probably at least 8 inches. But he did not provide me with the quote. So I can't even give you a ballpark estimate on what that might cost. So I guess I'll have to wait till October for action. Okay, regarding the president's report, we did have one FOIA request. It was a data request from the village. That was for, what was it?
Michigan Municipal League, they wanted to know basically what our premiums are. what our
Oh, that's right,
deductibles
that's
are.
about insurance.
Mhm.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were asking what the village spends on our insurance policy and what the limits were, I think. It was a community development block grant. We received no applications for assistance. Ordinance enforcement, aside from the fireworks getting a little out of hand for the holiday, that was the only complaint I received.
We weren't home, but I heard about it. They loved it. Everybody, from what I heard, loved it around there.
They were commercial grade fireworks. They weren't.
Were they? Okay, I don't know.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So there was no action taken, obviously. So okay. I did get notice from the Federal Aid Committee that we will have approval from MDOT for the $1.5 million for Forest Street by July of 2025. I have also spoken with Baker Tilly, which does it's a full service engineering firm, but they also do financial arrangements for financing road projects. And they're also going to send me the names of some bond attorneys. Apparently, the construction companies aren't allowed to also do the bonds. It has to be independent from their activities. So we used Benzinski and Sons for the last two projects, but their firm is still there, but we had problems with them. They tried to change the amount that we were to pay after we had already signed the contract. You know that, Judy? And so I'm not going back to them. If as long as I get a couple competitive quotes to see what it costs, we'll go from there. Let's see. Also, I just want to let the council know that the Strawberry Festival has been added to the special event assessment rating, which is SEER, which is federal FEMA assessment and Homeland Security rate events by the number of population and the danger level of such an event, the risk, I guess. So I submitted it to the festival because that's really the only thing we have, and we're covered, I guess, whatever that means by FEMA now. They'll do any risk assessing, things like that. Okay, so that's all I have for the president's report. And you go to the trustee committee report, Summer Festival Committee. I think they're on a hiatus now. Cable Commission, John.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't get a replacement, so yeah. Decorating Committee.
Only one thing to add, since we already covered finances,
Right.
road closure from 3 to 7 p.m. on December 8th. I can make a motion to close the road from 3 p.m. until 7 p.m. on December 8th. This section of
It's early, but we can do it,
Yeah.
if that's pleasure.
From 3 to 7 on December 8th,
Yep.
from Forest to,
Division,
Yeah, I guess.
that's really the only practical way to do it,
Okay,
because you can't have cars coming part way down.
gotcha.
Yeah, in the back road, so.
Okay.
So 3 to, and that's on December 8th?
Yes.
December 8th. 3 to 7 PM, Elmwood closed from Forest to Division.
Correct.
Okay. What's the pleasure?
That was my motion.
That's your motion.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to close East Elmwood from 3 to 7 between Forest and Division on December 8th. Are there any questions on the motion? If not, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Opposed, please say no. Motion carries. Okay, thank you, Jennifer.
Sneak those all out.
North Oakland Transportation Authority, their next meeting is September 19th. Just busy, 46 routes, that's from 13 routes a little over a year ago, or since the Oakland County Transportation Tax passed. Over 119 employees. Planning Commission meeting is September 19th.
We'll have a meeting.
Okay, we'll be meeting.
Yes.
Pollyant Trail Management Council's meeting is September 18th. I'm not sure when it's gonna be, it might be at Oxford. Village Park, we did have a park meeting, there were only, really only 3 people left on the committee. Myself and Doug and Linda Noaker. We had a meeting and then we went down the following Saturday and cleaned up the park, cut some trimmed those cedar trees and did some work cleaning the flower beds out. And there is a schedule now. I sent it by email to the village that has the meeting dates on it. And then Community Development Block Fund, Lori included the amounts in the report that was in your packet. As of July 31st, we have total between remove architectural barriers and minor home repair $17,500. The minor home repair is $7,000. Is that available yet, Lori?
is
I
that
don't think it
available? I think it was released. Yeah,
Okay.
I feel like the answer is yes on that.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. It's late enough in the year, it's crazy how.
Right, only
Crazy.
because this came
Yeah.
from them and they wouldn't put it in there if we didn't have it, so I'm assuming it actually is there now. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Requests.
All right, so that's all I have. The council have anything?
I'd like to make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
8:03.
All those in the motion, in favor of the motion to adjourn, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Motion carries.